out there even with the heat because it's still free. So we ain't going to enjoy it. Because the man that plays the caliber in Lehman is going to be our man up here at the pulpit. So,
He's out of town this week.
So he's our man today. And this is our other man who's going to do the talking. Wow, we're in for a treat today. So just enjoy.
Well, let me say, I hope you're in for a treat. We never know, do we? Yes, guitarist is out of town this weekend, and we're singing a cappella. But when I pick the songs, I pick songs that I like and know. So sing out loud. Let's start with number 16 in your songbook, Wonderful Words of Love. Oh, raise your eyes and your hearts and your energies to the heavens, out into our beautiful universe. Father, Mother God, we give thanks for this beautiful day, and we give thanks for all things in your name. And we give thanks in the names of all masters, teachers, guides, and angels that work with us 24/7 in order for us to grow and become spiritual beings of the highest accord. We give thanks for all the healings that have gone forth from this chapel and through our prayer line. We give thanks for the camaraderie and the joy that we have sharing together. And we ask that our teachers and guides and angels continue to guide us in a proper manner, that we may all be one together in mind, body, and spirit. And so we now sing the Lord's Prayer. Spiritual reading for today. My Master Paul gave me this morning. It goes back when I was a kid, and we were living on the farm. We were renting the farmhouse, and I was going into Lebanon with the landlord and his wife, Mr. and Mrs. Call, to a brethren church, Sunday school and then church. It was very enjoyable. And this became one of my favorites, and I think everybody memorized it. It's the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepares a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That's from the New International Version of the Bible. It's more updated for American English, I guess. Of course, you have it in your head and you want to say it the way you learned it when you were a kid. But anyhow, what are we doing? Well, I guess it's ready for me to talk. You know, I don't know about other ministers, but when you know you have a church service coming up, you start thinking about what you want to speak on and play with it and change it. And mine came about 2 weeks ago. Who are you? Well, you know, you can get carried away thinking about this. Who am I? Who are you? Now, we do know that we have Reverend Lloyd Mall here, and we have Reverend Alice Nagy and Reverend Glenn Lehman, who happens to be my brother, in case you didn't know. You know, we have Reverend Nancy Althouse. We have Robert Kunkel back there and his lovely wife, Lois. But toy with this in your head. Who are you? Now, personally, I was asking myself this, and beyond the materialistic, crazy world we live in, I was thinking along the more spiritual expressions of who I am. Who am I? Am I all that I could be? Are you all that you could be? No. But we're trying. We're trying. There are areas in this life where I recognize I could have done better. And there are things in the past that I'm not proud enough to discuss with all of you. Maybe a couple of you. But not all of you. Because you may not understand. As I look back, you know, I have one thing back about 50 years ago that pops into my head periodically. It's one of those moments that you really aren't proud of yourself. And I have talked to God about it. I've talked with my Master Paul about it. And I realized this was 50 years ago now. You know, I was pretty young 50 years ago. But this was a period of growth for me as a human spiritual being. And sometimes we do things to get ourselves in trouble because we're going to grow from it, because you'll know you'll never do that again. We pray. And maybe the second time around you might get the message. But you know, these are all life's lessons as we go down our pathway of light and discovery. And we need to have these experiences. And here again, I'm talking about me. I want you to talk to yourself when you're discussing who are you. You know, am I proud of myself? Yes, I am. Are you proud of yourself? Do you feel that God is pleased with what you have accomplished in your 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years? See, we have a wide range of experience here. You know, it would be very hard in these modern days to walk the path that Jesus walked. But he came here on earth to give us lessons for our age, which is a new age. And maybe when we reach that degree of perfection is when we cross over into the world of spirit. You know, I've tried, as I'm sure you have all tried, to be all that I can be. For you to be all that you can be. And maybe you know avenues that you must travel into accomplish these goals as a spiritual being. As spirit living in a human body, we have all kinds of situations that come up that teach us a better way. And I know that I am not the same as I was 50, 60 years ago. First off, I was younger, and I was adorable. Dee Dee and I were both adorable. But we keep on keeping on, you know. And maybe soon we will know our true identity. Now, we assume varying roles during the course of each day and at the different stages of our life. Underlying all these roles, we have an identity that is unseen by our eyes, but ever present, observing all that we do in the world. And we are blind to this reality. We are unconscious of this reality until we become awakened spiritually. This reality is our true identity. This is the identity of our true self. And I'm sure you have known individuals in life that, they're not on a spiritual path in the present. But they are on a spiritual path. They just went off in the wrong branch, that's all. And some never come out of that period of anger, greed, distrust. You can go on and on. But in the consciousness of our true self, we are not affected by the ongoing changes in our emotional, mental, and physical realities. In our true self, we are steeped in contentment amidst worldly turmoil. Think about that. Those moments that you are in contentment with yourself, with what you are experiencing, even though we have all this chaos around us. We can perceive and identify our true self when we are in an elevated state of consciousness. Eventually, we can stay in awareness of our true self in this elevated state of consciousness while concurrently being active emotionally, mentally, and physically. Being conscious of our true identity is as if we are wearing an unseen life preserver in the ocean of life. We float around up above the turmoil. We remain aware that every situation we are in now and forevermore has a resolve that can retain our peace. The state in which we have contact with our true self, as long as we act for the best of each moment. This elevated state of consciousness, where we are aware of the true identity of ourselves, is a state of active meditation. The state of meditation is communion with the reality of our true self. And it is achieved through a step-by-step process. Now, some of us have learned to meditate many years ago. And we as ministers and teachers of spiritual values, we talk to all of you younger people that don't know what you're doing in your life. We try to teach you to go within and to meditate, because that's where you're going to get the answers, the true answers. The mental desire to know the identity of your true self will come through by meditation. The emotional longing to experience the state of permanent love. The practice practice of keeping the body still for short periods of time, such as by sitting in a meditative pose in order to not be distracted by physical activity, allowing time for loving introspection, and holding positive attitudes in thinking and in living. Acting in alignment with the best resolve for each situation, and practicing unconditionally caring love for all. Now, I know there are many who don't believe in unconditional love. But I say, try it. Try it. Now, of these 6 conditions, the most important one is to love all with unconditionally caring love. Unconditionally caring love sets our mind in a positive direction and automatically raises our consciousness so that we can perceive what our physical eyes cannot see. And we gradually rise above the outer and inner turmoil to experience the permanent consciousness of joy. The permanent joyful state is the quality of our own dear true identity. And we say in our prayers, in our meditations, we ask that our world be filled with happiness and joy and abundance, because that's really what your higher self would desire for everyone. You know, I don't wish anything for myself that I don't wish for you. And likewise, you should wish for me what you would desire for yourself. By acting lovingly with each other, we come in further experience that our true self is infinitely expansive, with no physical, mental, or emotional boundaries, as our own physical body seems to have. We're working with our auric field, and we go out, and we affect everyone that comes in within our auric field. There is much comfort in the consciousness of knowing the identity of our true self. Wherever we go, whomever we are with, feels like our home and our family. We feel our very own self in all that is. You know, we go visit friends and family, and it's just such a wonderful feeling, a blending of love and energies. And it's almost unexplainable how it affects your being down the road. Now, our true identity, the identity of our true self, is an elevated state of consciousness that we can be in while we are awake and living daily, emotionally, mentally, and physically, by loving unconditionally and acting in alignment with the best resolve of every situation. Our true self, our self of permanent joy, unfazed by events in living, ever full and self-supporting, supporting us in every way with contentment that never wavers, love that is ever present. And that is the state of being that I work for, and I assume you are all working for that same thing, for constant joy and happiness and health as we go down our pathway of light and discovery. So as we go on getting to know who we really are and working to also know our true identity, may we all walk in the light and the love of our